Hello everyone, this was Monkey11 again. I'm going to be here with another FTB monster tutorial. This time going over storage, in depth again sort of, but going over more the sorting system, auto crafting part of it. The only thing I don't cover in this is Project Red's storage sorting system, just because I haven't got a grasp of it yet. I have all the stuff in my action bar now because I've been messing around with it trying to figure it out, but when I figure it out, I will put out another video on that as well, be a shorter one. But in this, we'll go over Emmy and its auto crafting and auto stocking, as well as running a quarry and having that go into your system using tesseracts and other interesting things like that. Also, we'll go into factorization, auto crafting, and how you can integrate that with your Emmy system as well. I also show you a basic just system of, what are they called there, pipes, logistics pipes, there we go. We'll go over that, and I'll show you some of the pipes you can have with that, as well as some of the modules that you can put in and how they interact with each other. Anyway, let's see, let's get to it. First thing I'm going to look at is this quarry. Okay, I have it set up so it just has iron in it. When I connect this to power, it's going to build itself and then start chewing away at that iron. It'll go through this tesseract to this other one. They're both programmed to frequency 3, and they're configured to send or receive items depending on which one you're looking at. This one, as you can see at the top there, it's set to send items on frequency 3, and this one's set to receive on frequency 3. And it'll deposit into a nearby inventory. So this chest. Once it goes to this chest here, I'm going to have it then go down through, once I connect this again into this ME system, where it'll be stored on these many drives. So yeah, let's connect this up. Oh, right there. Just gotta destroy all those blocks there. I also am gonna need to get those up there and get an ME cable. See, okay, it's building the quarry. Anytime now. I should have had this done before, but I didn't want it to go really fast. It's set up to put out 10,000 RF, so it would be done and started quarrying. This is only like 3 blocks deep, and then it hits obsidian. So I didn't want to have to keep putting that in there. But see, it's digging. See, it goes right into this chest from over there. If I connect this, you'll see it gets pulled out as well. Maybe. Once I do that, you'll see it's going down now. That's getting pulled into the system, and it comes over here. It's getting put in here. It gets pulled out by an import bus again. It imports into the system. Now, so yeah, it's in the system. Now if you come over here, this is a thermal expansion or processing setup, but it's automated through my ME network. The way I have it set up is this thing will output, it takes in iron, and it outputs, it takes in iron through a precise fuzzy export bus and puts in just iron ore. It'll always put in iron ore, so it'll come up to a full stack. Then these right here will output to the left and to the right into the furnaces. So each furnace will have one of the components. So if iron has a chance of giving ferrous, ferrous will go one way, and it'll smelt into ferrous ingots, and iron will go the other way and become iron ingots. And then those have basic import buses, and everything that those furnaces put out goes back into the system. But if you look down bottom here, there's a level emitter, and what a level emitter does, if you click on it, you put an item here, you put this value here, which is the target value you want, and then here you have a few different modes, a few different redstone modes. The one I have it on right now is this thing will emit a redstone signal when levels are below or equal to the limit. So if I have less than 192, ingots of iron, it'll start making more iron. Like if I come over here and I just take out 2 stacks, we'll say. See that signal came on? This thing started smelting because I have this thing set up to have a high signal. It means it needs to have a redstone signal in order to actually work. So that's how that one works. I have the same thing set up over here, just with copper. So that will keep your ingot levels the same, like keep them high or whatever. You can also set it to like if you have so much ore that it'll start actually smelting the ore. If you have, you can do it whatever, like and you can use those with other things as well. I'll show you here in a second. Now we'll come over here. This right here is the auto crafting. It's made up of 4 different blocks. You have the containment walls, you have the heat vents, and then inside you have a CPU, and you have a hold on, let me find it. Applied. Okay, so you have the containment, you have the crafting CPU, heat vents, containment wall, and no, partition editor, where is it? Pattern something. I thought they were all right together. Right here, pattern, no, yep, pattern provider, there we go. That's the other one you need. You need to have at least 1 CPU and 1 pattern provider per thing. The more pattern providers you have, when you open this up, the more pages you'll have. For these right here are all patterns, so the more pattern providers you have, the more patterns you can have. If you have more CPUs, it's the faster it'll craft. You can only have 1 thing crafting at a time. It'll go through each job at a time. You can have more things queued up, but it'll do 1 job at a time. So if it's a high amount of CPU, you can actually have a bunch of jobs queued and it'll go through them pretty quickly. So you won't bog your system down. Okay, so that's that. The way you make patterns is you have to have a pattern. Where is it? I just saw it just a minute ago. Partition editor, god damn it, where is it? Pattern encoder, here we go. Then you need blank patterns, which are, where are blank patterns? I should have this more organized, but no, I have a bunch right here. Okay, so this doesn't take any power, just look at it like this. So if you put a blank pattern here, you can put like iron the whole way around like that, put a solid block, and that would make a block of iron pattern. You would encode, you get a block of iron. It tells you it crafts 1 block of iron with 9 ingots. The other thing with these things though, you can tell it that you put in 9 ingots and it gives you this. Like you can make codes in patterns that aren't actual recipes in the crafting table. This is because if you put them into interfaces, you can have them put in items to non-Emmy crafting stuff. So like you can automate other machines through these patterns as well. I'll get into that in a different tutorial. I didn't do anything in this one per se, so anyway. So that's how you make your patterns, and I believe you can clear them. You can take a normal pattern by you shift right click and it'll clear the pattern of its of what it has in it. So actually they're different. They're the same, but they're different. You can re-encode it with a different pattern, but it won't stack with the ones I spawned in. Anyway, if I come over here, this right here is a subsystem of this one. This Emmy Interface acts as a buffer, and it the storage bus makes it so that this entire system here, this main system, is the storage for this controller. So there's no actual drives on this one, but it can still see all the items on the other network, even though there's no actual items on this network. So on this right here though, I have a basic auto crafting, as well as an auto supplier. What this right here does, there's an Emmy interface with crafting mode set. Then up from that, there's an export bus, which will export the item you want to make, and you have it set to stack mode and always craft item, and you have it on redstone mode, so it's active whenever it'll craft this whenever there's a signal. And then you have a level emitter, and this will determine when you make it. It'll give a signal if you are below or equal to this limit of 2. So if there's 2 or 1 redstone furnaces in my other Emmy's net network, it'll then produce a redstone signal here and cause this thing to ask this to create a redstone furnace. So you can make it slightly smaller. I've done that down here. So down here, this is the same thing, just as small as you can make it. So this does the same thing, but this is doing it with machine frames. And I'm maintaining, I believe, 4. Yep. And then on this one, these 3 are on the main network, and they are maintaining bricks, redstone reception coils, and copper gears. So if I take out, say, all of those, you should see this thing change. Well, it's activate with signal. It's not crafting them. Hold on. Let me Emmy has been messing up a little bit. It does work. I can vouch for that. It's just that where I've saved and come out. Let me add 1 minus 1. Put 1 back in there. Sometimes it makes it a little better. Yeah, so these are always active, active without signal, active with signal. Let me do this. Boop, boop. Okay, there. See, they auto balance. If I take out these 7, see, there we go. That's what it was. All I had to do was take out my recipes, put them back in, and it starts working again. I don't know if that's just a bug or what that is, but it'll work here. We got gears. If I take out all those gears, it'll craft them all back up. Crafts the sticks, crafts the wooden gears, stone gears, copper gears. It was the whole way through it all. So there. I'll put all that back in there. And that's how those work. So those are just basic systems. You can do a lot more. You can automate a lot more machines. Another way of automating is you put these interfaces below a machine, and then you can set patterns in here in the processing part, just like this. You set it to craft mode as well. But we'll move on. This is factorization, and these are the compression crafters. You can set them up around in different configurations to craft different matrices, whatever. Anyway, you can go from like 1x1, 2x2, 1x2s, like in this all flat plane type business. But the way I have them set up is 3x3, just typical crafting bench. These act like you place the blocks in there, and it acts as if the blocks are inside of a crafting table. Or if you're using barrels in here, whatever's in the barrel will be used. So what I figured you could do, and this would work, I've tried it, but I don't have it all configured yet. It's really hard to configure now too, since I've got them so close. But you can put barrels and then you have these storage buses below them. And you have it, barrels can only hold one type of item anyway, so you have these storage buses set to store whitelist, say one type of item, and you can have these level emitters as well that will turn on to tell this to craft when you're below a certain limit. The way these compression crafters work is you place them along the outside edge with this little texture facing in, so they all point towards each other. And when it receives a redstone signal, it doesn't have to be constant. Just when it receives a pulse, it'll then craft whatever it can with the stuff that's in the middle of it. Sorry. The way this would work is you have whatever you have crafted, just have the recipe essentially set to have everything in that, and then when levels drop below, the redstone signal comes on, it crafts, it exports to a nearby inventory, and then you just pull it out with a basic import pipe, and it goes into your system. Again, I don't have them set up to actually craft anything, so I can't show you that, but this does work. This next system here, this is logistics pipes. It's another thing to use instead of ME. If you're not really into using this storage system here, you can do logistics pipes. It works off the buildcraft API, I believe. It integrates with buildcraft pipes, standard ones. Good ones to use are gold, because gold move items fast, move things fast through them. So, and they'll transmit power through even gold pipes. Even, I don't know if any other pipes will work or not, but it will transmit through buildcraft pipes. So here is an auto crafter. I believe this one is set up to make buildcraft logistics pipes. This is the recipe here. You can also use gold chipsets, which you make in the assembly table of buildcraft, if you have that part installed. If you're using the FTB monster, you will have it installed. If you have an assembly table set up, it's cheaper to do it that way. If you don't, it's easier to do it this way by hand. So if you have an assembly table, do it the other way. If not, do this way. But the way you do crafting tables is you place the crafting table, and then you place a crafting logistics pipe next to it, and you put the pattern you want in you can shift click, like if I, oh damn it, nope, if I press R, there we go, you get a recipe. If you shift click this question mark, it'll put it in here, and then you're going to want to take your a wrench, and then you wrench on that, and it comes up with this GUI, and you hit import, and it'll bring in the new recipe and all the items it needs to craft it, and that's ready. And then you look on your system. Sorry. Look on your system. You can see that you can craft these. It has 0, but you can craft them. You can click here and say craft, and it'll tell you the things you can craft with it. So, in order to power logistics pipes, you need to have a logistics power junction. From that, you can power it using redstone energy conduits, thermal expansion, or MJs. So either or. I don't know if you can use Industrial Craft 2. I can check really quick. Just search Fibre, and we'll see if that connects in. It does connect in, so I'm going to assume you can use it. It does go off. It says there's 0 MJs in it. It says it's getting 0, but if you open it up, you can see that it's stored LP, which is logistics power, inside of it. As it says, 5 LP equals 1 MJ. You also know that 1 redstone flux is equal to, I believe, 10 MJ. So they convert that way through each other, and then 1 EU is 2 LP. So it does work with Industrial Craft. It does work with thermal expansion, as well as it does work with buildcraft. All 3 work. Then the rest of them, buildcraft pipes, are what carries it. Now the way you interact with chests, there's actual logistics pipes that have special functions just on their own, but then there's also these chassis that you can build, and then you plug in modules to them that provide that function for each thing. Sorry. So each chassis has Mark 1, obviously the cheapest, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Mark 5 being the most expensive and really hard to make. It also has a lot of slots for modules. All I have in it right now is the provider module, Mark 2, which pulls items out really fast and supplies crafting tables or request pipes. Like anything that requests an item will take from this chest. It acts like a storage bus for Emmy. So these all have Mark II providers in them. But as you can see, Mark 1 has 1 slot. Mark 2 has 2 slots. Mark 3 has 3 slots. 4 has 4 slots. And then Mark 5 has 7 or so. 8, sorry. Has 8 slots. Now if you look here, if I type module, there's a lot of modules. The blank one is used to make all of the other ones. Item sinks are used to store items in certain chests. Once you actually put it in, I'll put one in this one. Just right click. There it is. You can select which items it actually requests and stores in this chest. And you can also set if it's the default route or not. The default route will put everything into that chest. Passive supplier, I'm not sure exactly. Extractor pulls things out. Just anything out from that chest. So you use that on like a dump chest. You put everything into that chest and it'll pull it out into your system. I think actually I do have that on this one. I have an extractor Mark III. It pulls out full stacks from this chest here. So, but I must have it configured. 1 second. No. Oh, it's because these are all configured not to have anything. It has no place to put them, so it won't pull it out into the system. Anyway, normally they pull out. It extracts everything into the system, and then it puts it in the places it's supposed to go. If you have item sync modules. So that's extractors. Polymorphic. If you already have an item in that chest, it'll then put those items in with it. So if you have a bunch of random chests and you want to keep it that way, you can do that. They also have where are they? There's order dictionary, which is it'll use the order dictionary. So if you have 3, 4 different types of copper, it'll all go into the same chest. It just ignores that they're different item values and stuff like that. They're the same name, they'll go in the same place. And then there's mod-based ones, so you can put in an item from any mod. Let me just pull these up too. You put any item from that mod, it pulls up the name of the mod, you hit add, and anything from Applied Energistics will go into that chest. It'll act like an item sync, just it's mod based. So if you want to have chests done by just mods, you can do that. Then you're just limited by the number of storage spaces you have. Other ones is Thomic aspect sync. Not really sure, but it has to do with Thaumcraft. I know that. Electric manager modules, electric buffer modules. Again, there's a lot of modules and there's not a lot of stuff, but for a sorting system you need an extractor for the dump chest, you need some kind of item sinks, and you need providers if you're going to have a way to access all of it from one point. And to access it from one point, you need a request Mark II pipe. You can have request pipes which will allow machines and stuff to request items, but you can't actually, there's no GUI for you to actually interact with. With a Mark II, you can actually click on it and interact. The more stuff you have, the more pages that'll show up. So, anyway, that's pretty much it, I think. That covers all that I have here. Again, I'll be doing another video on integrating automation with Emmy interfaces with other machines not just import and output buses, but actually using interfaces to integrate, as well as I'll probably be going over the Project Red sorting system, which has to do with transport pipes, item transport pipes, and these chips. They have a few other pipes here. I just don't know how to use them yet, so once I figure that out, I'll be making another video. Anyway, so talk to you later. Bye.